Alright, so E100 on airfield, only one artillery. Pretty much the same comps on both teams. You spawn down here, it's still probably best to hang out in this area. Typically what I try to do is establish where the artillery is. The artillery is really only in one of two places. They're either down here or they're up here. If they're up here, then they get better shots into this area over here. If they're down here, then they get better shots over there. So then what I'll do is figure out where the artillery is, and then I'll play opposite of them. But you would almost always go north in an E100 on this map. Yeah, I mean, we'll get to victories eventually, but we're just gonna get priorities to losses. So if there's a lot of good close losses, then your guys' victories are your guys' super hard carries are gonna have to wait. And again, I think you could learn something from those types of things still as well. So see how you sent all of your tanks up here, you didn't send anything over here. That's not necessarily good. Like M48 Patton would do really well over here. And also it gives you an idea of what's going to come around the backside. This 261 needs to recognize that he's got nothing on guarding him. So he needs to move north. Almost always on this map, artillery should move north from this side. And then get up underneath here. You've got a lot of guys that are pushing in already. That's not necessarily good. There's E100 set up on the other side of this over here. That's going to be difficult. It's 4202. 4202 is probably your best shot right now. Oh, okay. Unless there's a Lorraine right here for some reason, in which case you in the face. Yeah, you want to get as close to that rock as possible, because where you're at, you can actually get shot by artillery from either side. So the closer that you get, you're closing down the shots from over here, but you're increasing the shots from down there if he's there. But I don't usually mind getting shot once if I can figure out where he's at. So where you're at, you can still get hit by artillery from the north. I'm sorry, from the south. Just keep it in mind. Looks like their E100 is going to try to push around the backside a little bit. You have 4502B matched up against a T54 on the bottom. That's good. That M103, once he goes down, means that you should probably, push up through there.
It's a trap!
The fact that you haven't really been shot suggests that there are artilleries on the north. And then don't forget the 4202 still in the back there. And it's good angling. That's what we like to see. You got to increase your angle a little bit more as he moves forward. Nice shot. There wasn't anything that you could have done more to save that guy. You should actually push out and kill that other E100 as you can. You're gonna reload before he does. And then actually you should probably go this way and see if you can get that 4502B. Like this is kind of difficult to push around here just because you kind of push into a crossfire. But see how they've been backed off of this area, this up top, right up here where your other E100 is looking? That means that you can push into there, right? And you can get shots at these guys. And you're going to be just as exposed to artillery as you are here, so it's not like that's much of a difference.
It's a trap!
It happens. Just keep going. He fires. That's good. Shoot turret. We'll go through. And so it's 200 millimeters, but like as he raises the back of his tank, the slope goes down to you. so you can shoot right through it. He's giving you a little bit of a side profile. The side armor is a little weak. Yeah, you can shoot right through there. The IS-4 forgot that you existed. So like right there, especially in like a weaker tank, like if I was like in an E5, I wouldn't turn my armor to the IS-4 necessarily if I thought that the artillery was still on the south there. And then your team needs to get a little bit braver now, but let's see. Nice shooting, good angling. Still don't know where their artillery is at. But there's all mediums here, so you probably want to lead this charge. Yeah.
It's a trap!
Like, you can see these guys going through there, but it's really not that big of a concern. So their artillery is on the south, which makes sense. You got plenty of time to kill this guy, so...
It's a trap!
Oh, the shot went down. That happens. You're not going to get another shot on him. So, and then now is about the time. So what these guys do, they're either going to push this way, which will give you shots into their ass, or they're going to push up here, which is going to give you shots into their ass. But you should turn around so that you can get... No, go back the other way so you can get shots into their ass. Right, because you don't want to chase after these guys, because the more that you chase, you're basically overextending. Like where that T-62A was a bad position, so you can get shots easily from where you're at. And don't forget that 4202 is back over here as well. I guess he's over there now. And then you're sort of separating from your E5. And you ideally want to get someplace where you're more artillery safe at this point. So like I would have preferred to push forward. Like keep your ass in that tank. Like you're not gonna out-traverse him at this point. And then get over here where this T-62A is. Because right now, essentially you guys... You pushed into their advantage. The fact that you want to be at range from them in that particular scenario, just given the fact that they had the numbers. So you wanted to be back there. So I think it would have probably been better to take out that take out that T-95 rather than push up here where, you know, potentially they can have an advantage. I keep trying to switch off your tank and I forget that I can't do that. I mean, obviously, I thought it was a good job to push and clear this middle. I think the only real mistake strategically that you made was actually pushing forward there. Like, I thought that was the bad choice, that if you had gone back, it would have been more important. Maybe the E5 wouldn't have pushed. The E100 was going to push anyways, but he was a bad player and he didn't have much health anyways. But it was kind of a poor situation. Like there's a window where you had good shots on the T-62, but then after that, you don't want to chase those guys. Whenever you're in slow tanks playing against fast tanks, you want to find some way to use the team goals to force them to come to you. You don't want to have to chase after them, because that gives them an advantage. That plays into their hands. And you just want to be able to bully. That's the object of the E100. Bully, bully, bully. The red hit marker doesn't always tell you where their artillery is from, but where the shell lands, you can tell where the artillery is from. Because sometimes if their artillery overshoots you, you know, it'll say that the shell came from behind you, but it didn't really come from behind you. It's just something landed behind you. Where it came from can be variable. And so where he was at when he was right here when it landed, which means that the artillery is most likely right here. So Very sad. But yeah, I mean, I thought you did a good job over here. I'm kind of surprised that the 261 didn't hit you earlier. That's like one of the easier shots to make. Maybe he started in the middle over here and then eventually moved south or something. But yeah, once you, I think once you cleared up this area, that was actually really good. And then moving through this side was also a good play. And then it was just come back rather than move forward. Pushing across here, and this is something that happens a lot in a lot of pub games, is that you take an area of strategic importance and then there's this huge gap of land to the next place where you can be technically safe, and so you kind of don't want to push across those gaps unless you absolutely have to. This happens a lot, like on Redshire, for example, that zero line, that F0 area from the south. A lot of tanks like to fight over there, and then whoever wins then, though, has to push across this sort of open area from either side. And then it's the same sort of situation here. Whoever wins, this is a fun place to fight. There's a lot of cover, but then once you win it, either team that wins has to start pushing across an open plain, and that's where you have to be a little bit more careful about how aggressive you are. And so if we look at the stats, 9k damage. Your team overall didn't do that poorly. It's not really a team thing. I really felt like you had it won. You had them on the ropes. And then you guys bled out trying to push to make that push across to the east. And that probably just wasn't the right play. GG though, good shot efficiency, that's what we like to see. Alright, and the next game is FCM on Himmelsdorf. Alright, Himmelsdorf encounter. You have a slightly lighter comp. They got an IS-3, KV-4, KV-3, T-29. You've really got just the IS T-29. T-29 is probably not going to be that much help. Although their KV-3 is probably going to cancel him out. Yeah, so I still go west here, and you can set up in a couple of different places. You can set up on this ramp over here, you can set up over on this area, or you can set up on the 3 line. I almost never go hill. I just don't, especially on encounter. Enough puppies will go there, and I don't really think that's an important feature. Yeah, Rat, give me that T. I watched your T1 game, Rat. You on Himmelsdorf. You drove around and shooting people from like 50 meters away, and they never even looked at you. Like, you were just shooting them, and they're just like. Anyhow, okay, so most of your team on hill, you got T34-3 and T25/2 on the 8 line, which is actually really good. That's nice. You got a couple guys pushing up here. I would actually go to this corner and just try to see what comes over there. They sent their KV-4 over there, so that's a good match for the KV-4 against those guys. MT25.
It's a trap!
That's fine, he went to E1. It's not that big of a deal. You do want to still peek this 3 line a little bit to see what you can see. They're not, those guys up top, you're not going to have shots on them for a little bit. You have to wait. So you have guys here, so you'll be able to see them come around, and they will come around. Which is why I don't like. Which is why I like controlling the west, because controlling the west, gives you these shots. Yes, if you can take them out, it's fantastic. You should have taken that shot. It would have been worth the risk. So you have to also remember from these distances, the shots arc and they come down. So even though you're shooting up onto a plane, it's a better percentage shot than it appears to be, just because of the way that the arcs will work. MT-25 is behind you, and you're gonna need to kill this guy just because he's going to be that KV-3 can shoot you, for example. There you go. Now you're safer. You might as well push him though, because you don't want to waste too much time. Peek out, look this way first. You're not gonna get a shot there, so you're just letting them get set up, and you're also right. See their KV-3 is pushing over here. Right? Don't be pinned in by this MT-25. Is what I'm saying. No, look to your right first. Okay, well apparently there's nothing there. In which case, you definitely should have done this a long time ago. But yeah, you want to look to your right first just to see if there's anything covering him. And then if there's nothing covering him, no, that guy's not there yet. He's still trying to figure his way out. Oh my god, your Schmaltern. See, but you need to do something. You can't shoot the MT-25. The only thing that you shoot is the SU-100 or the Hell. And you should be helping either of those. Okay, they've pushed past the point where you can actually shoot them now. So you actually need to make something happen on this side. Ooh, that T-3485 is getting revenge. See, maybe if you had risked that shot earlier, you could have killed him. Yeah, so they've got a lot of guys here, but you can actually go up through either side. I would actually probably go over through this 3-line over by where the C-25 is. That's going to make you vulnerable to the T-25/2, but their other guys have rolled off the hill, so that's not as much of a concern. You have to be careful to not push into a crossfire between the SU-100 and those guys over on the right, though. So what you want to do is you want to go over here where you can shoot the SU-100, right? You don't want to get caught someplace where you're in between, right? Because now you're just getting shot too. So then push up over here now, because over here is where it's safe now. Okay, and then now you're clear. You don't have a whole lot of pressure on you. So you don't want to sit there though. So you don't. Once you're moved to that position where you're safe, you don't necessarily want to apply a lot of pressure. You know, just let your spot drop and then see what happens. So they're pushing through your base, but that's not that big of a deal. You can sit where you're at. You're gonna have to screen the 3-line at some point. The KV-4 is still over there, so the KV-4 might be coming through the courtyard for all you know. Oh, okay, apparently he's not. Apparently he's going through the south there. You rush that one a little bit. You have plenty of time. There's a window a little bit to the right that you can shoot through if he didn't get killed. And then here's where it's nice, just in case, to have an APCR, because if you can have an APCR ready for that KV-4, that would make your life a lot easier. This T-25/2, so they're either going to come up this way into your T-25/2, or they're gonna go that way. Either way, you need to be in front. It's like, okay, well now it doesn't matter because your T-25 is dead. See how he's headed north? So just set up and yeah, there you go. Set up, get ready. Get ready.
It's a trap!
Go back up. Because you don't want to get shot by the next guy. And then go around. You need to screen these guys somehow.
It's a trap!
Don't fixate on that guy. Though I guess now your thing is dead. Yeah, I'm not sure how you lose this. Oh, I guess they do still have 2 guys that haven't been lit, including a T-28 Proto. IS-3 is 2-shot. You probably want to be aggressive in pushing that IS-3, because you can get 2 shots off when he only has 1. You want to avoid the T-28 Proto, who, for all you know, is coming down the 8-line. Although from where you got spotted, I would actually say he's coming in through this side. You probably just didn't see him. Just push to try to find that IS-3, I think. He'll still be in that quadrant someplace. I think if you go this way, you'll see the T-28 Proto in the middle there. The 12T might light him pretty soon. I would have thought that he would have been in there. Huh. Oh, there he is. Oh, that's not so good.
It's a trap!
This is a bad situation. You might as well push. So. Oh, he's crashed. He's crashed or he's not there. That's fine. So yeah, I would kill him. This is, you know, I'm not normally an advocate for killing tanks. So what you want to do though is get set in a go position. Your go position is out this way. You wanna you wanna bail. So the IS-3 is gonna probably cut in through there. You don't want to camp here. So what you want to do is you don't want to be in a head-to-head confrontation with him. You want to be in a situation where you're pushing into him or he has to push into you, right? Because you want to get to his side where you can get more reliable shots, ideally speaking. And you don't want to let your 12T run into him, right? Because you have to think, you can beat this IS-3 head-to-head because he's two-shot to you, right?
It's a trap!
As long as you take your time and aim. Right, so don't squander your advantage. Take your time, take your time. Oh my god. TW Panther on the hill. Yeah, now I would just get in the cab. Lol, he hit the salty. Yeah, I guess you can go either way. You can push him or you can get in the cab. I think I would tend... I think I would probably push him. This is not a good pushing area though, right? Because all he has to do is just sit there and wait.
It's a trap!
Lol. And then now I would actually probably run away. Because he's going to be a little bit reluctant to chase. So he's not going to leave this area, so you can go all the way around to the other side if you wanted. I would also load HE at this point because that way it's not in doubt, right? He doesn't have enough health to survive an HE shot. And then, yeah, I would go behind this building right here. Oh, there's even nice corpses set up for you. You should try not to touch the corpses as much as possible. And you should turn your tank perpendicular to where you're at right now, and you should be aiming right there because it's more likely it'll come from this side than that side. But the idea is that the chance of him shotgunning you is pretty low, but the chance of him just, you know, dropping some shells in here for lulz is not that bad. And the reason why you want to be where you're at instead of on that hill there is that it's basically a 50-50 shot if you're over there. But see how you're, I don't know what you're doing with your turret. You should actually be paying attention to the game. But yeah, so you want to be able to see that row and that row right there, right? So a lot of times what you'll do is just go perpendicular. I can't scroll any further back, but go perpendicular. You want to be facing like this, and you want to be a little bit further back. The idea being that if he pops up over here, if he tries to shotgun you, you'll be able to drive forward and get to cover, right? But you don't want to, and again, you don't want to touch those tanks as much as possible. Because you want to avoid the whole guess thing. But if you're a little bit further back, then you'll have better shots there. You can go over on that 2-line-ish area. I don't really like it because I think it puts it up to a coin flip because if he comes around that side, then he can shotgun you if you're facing the wrong direction, or if he goes to the side that you're not looking at, he can't. And so that's why I always like to play a position where I can see both sides, even if it exposes me a little bit more to a potential shotgun. It's better than having a coin flip, in my opinion. And so these are the stats. And so you did a good amount of damage. The only problem that I saw with your early mid game was that MT25. I really felt like you butchered the way that you played that MT25. You let him pin you in there way too long for him not having any support, and that's time that you could have been suppressing the hill, right? Because you lost the hill eventually. Their KV3 pushed around and basically just rifle stomped the guys that were on that side because they couldn't deal damage to him. You suppressed yourself because there was an MT25 there, when you could have just dealt with it and then gotten back to the business of killing the people on the hill. Otherwise, I thought your positioning was just fine. And it's just unfortunate at the turn of events at the end there. GG, nice try. Well, oh yeah, I guess that's a good point. The other thing I want to say is that when you know that you can bully somebody, when you know that the IS-3 is 2-shot to you, right? And there's no RNG involved in that. If you min-rolled both of those shots, you still would have killed him, right? When you know that, and you know that you're at least 2-shot to him, right? And you reload faster than him, that first shot that you take on him, that's why you always want to push into him in that case, because you don't want it to be ambiguous. You don't want him to have the advantage of being able to peek and poke against you. You want to just push him, right? And then you need to make those shots count. So even if you take the first shot that you take, it takes more time. The fact that you're already going to reload faster than him is to your advantage. The only way that you can lose, I'll put lose in air quotes, that exchange, is if you rush your shot and you bounce or you miss, right? And that's what ended up happening. And that's why you took an extra shot of damage from the IS-3 in order to kill him. So that's just something that you should focus on. But good game. I thought you played that pretty flawlessly.